Hey there, YouTube. PD2 Finger here. So I wrote a piece of music. It's kind of something that I've been playing a lot lately. A style I've been writing in, so I use some of the same sounds when I put it together as far as the synthesizer. Anyway, I use some different synthesizers, including a kind of an annoying arpeggio thing. I named the piece Low Rent from my favorite scene in the Doors movie, which is the Thanksgiving scene in which I believe there's psychedelics involved. It breaks into a big fight. More and more people keep showing up to the Morrison household, including Jim's new girlfriend, and it pisses off Pamela, who loses it. And it turns into a big scene with Jim wielding a knife, begging her to take his life. And at one point, there's a people are leaving, and a guy is heard to mutter, "This potty is low rent." And I named the song Low Rent. The song was written last night, and I put together a quick sequence for it. Up here is the drums. These are MIDI files that I go through here, and I will find something that works, drag and drop that up here, and then manipulate these with other, like a intro. This was twice as long, but at the end it had an annoying fill that I didn't like, so I cut it in half and doubled it, and it fit together without that annoying fill. And then the rest of it is pieced together till the end. These are all synthesizers that I played by hand with a MIDI keyboard. This is a sound effect bed that is just something to add some low end presence. Down here is the flute sound and the arpeggio that matches with it, and I have those panned respectively. I added some hand claps, and those I downloaded and installed that. That's from this 99 Sounds place. It's a free plug-in clap machine. So for this piece, I used Addictive Drums 2, the clap machine plug-in, the Wallow drone. This is Zebra. All of these are Zebra in here. The low drone is a sound effect that I downloaded from my sound effect collection. That's that arpeggio. And that's what I called flute. It isn't really a flute, but it's in that register, so it gets called that. So I had done this last night. Today I woke up, opened up a different piece of software, Adobe Audition. Now this is really, it's more of an editor, but I use it as my DAW. I have to confess. It's not the best at hosting VSTs. VSTi. You can process, you can edit with VST, but as far as like hosting a virtual instrument, you're unable to do that really. So initially, I took a mix down and threw it in here. And then I thought, you know what, that's really not the way to do it. So I went back into Reaper and I would solo a track and then print each track separately. And so then those are what you see here. Here's the noise bed, the drums, the Wallow synth, the sweeper, light pulse. Let's hear that. And like those light pulses, they weren't always lining up with the rhythm of the Wallow. Listen to it, and where it got out of sync, I would cut it. I would put a cut before and after the part that was out of sync, and then I would move it over slightly. I would nudge it until I listened to it by ear and it seemed like it fit better. That happens when you start adding, the more of these synthesizer tracks that you add, the more difficult it is to get a good mix. And I mean, it's just not recommended. For the type of music I'm making, it's better to not have a lot of canned backing tracks. It's better to just have the bass and the guitar. But every once in a while, I'll get goofy with it. So these here are the guitar tracks. As you can see, there's 1, 2, 3, maybe four guitar tracks. These are panned opposite, and then there's like, how is this laid out? Sheesh, what a mess. I played the parts with using different pickups. So there's a different timbre in there. Really, I should go back through here and clean this up as far as the panning goes. And what I should do is take the neck pickup takes and pan those hard right and left, and then put the bridge pickup and pan that center. I think that would work the best. But it is what it is. I did a clean bass track. And then there's a distorted bass. So yeah, it sounds like a mess here. I started working on this around 2 o'clock p.m. and it's 7 p.m. now. It was about 4 hours of tracking to do these guitar tracks, which each one of these is an individual take, probably about 40 individual takes. 4 hours worth of work to get me to this rough mix. Now, the idea behind this is so I can have a demo to bring to my partner. So my partner can get a recording. This recording, what I'll do is I will mute the bass part. And then I'll give her another version of it, which is all of these tracks, but I'll nudge the bass volume up a little bit. And I will mute that accent bass part on that. So she just hears, really another way to do it is just give her the drums and her bass part and crank up the bass a little bit. So that way she can learn it. She can have two versions. One is the bass part with the drums and maybe the other tracks a little bit blended in. And then the other one is just the opposite. It's everything but the track she's playing, so she can learn it and then play along with that track. I rarely do this. I rarely make a demo simply because I can get away with not having to do this process. But every once in a while, if I feel it's a good song and I want to hear what it would sound like if I worked on it and took it seriously. Now this one, I was really in a time crunch and I didn't, like this part here should have a solo. It should have an improvisation part in here, which I can always go in and just delete these and improvise in here, which is the great part about this non-linear editing software that I use. I wanted to share this demo with you and show you a little piece of how this stuff comes together when I'm recording a demo. And check it out. This is Low Rent.